Ironically, Glastonbury is a lot like The Matrix 3. It's disappointing and full of fucking hippies. You're listening to Diminishing Returns, the podcast about sequels, prequels, spin-offs, and reboots. I'm Chris Scott, and across from me, he's the Dominic Cummings.
Oh no.
The brains behind this podcast.
Please no.
It's Mr. Alan Johnson.
How do pod people?
That's right. We prorogued the podcast. We put ourselves on break, but we're back. We're back, Al. I've been on my first real holiday since I went to see Celtic play in Seville, which was fucking years ago. My flat has flooded from my upstairs neighbour, and I'm living at home with my mum and dad, which has been surprisingly quite nice. I've forgotten how nice it is to not lift a fucking finger, frankly. So things. I'm actually incredibly relaxed.
Oh, my word.
This is another bonus episode where we talk about sequel news, trailers, and just fucking whatever we want. Let's get us back in the groove. The world's gone crazy. The real news is filled with horrors and uncertainty. The world may be going to hell in a handbasket. But let's not look at that. Let's look at something even more important. And that's movie news. Al, what have you got for me to give you my unvarnished reaction? Because I'll be hearing this for the first time.
The big news. There's a possibility of Matrix 4 coming from Lana Wachowski. So it's only the tip of a 90s nostalgic iceberg that's coming our way, Chris. So first up, thoughts on the Matrix 4?
I think we can all agree there's never been any greater sequels than Matrix 2 and 3. I mean, I'm sure we all remember how excited we were when we saw The Matrix 3. I remember going to see The Matrix 3 in the cinema and people were audibly laughing. Like literally people burst out laughing at one bit and everybody was just looking at each other rolling our eyes, which is a shame because the first Matrix is fucking cool.
Yeah.
2 has some mind-blowing action sequences, but it was surrounded by a lot of shit. 2, and then 3 was just like, I'm meant to care about a bunch of fucking hippies and I'm not having
Yeah, it was Burning Man in space.
Yeah, it was. I mean, was it space though?
Well, that weird in between.
Yeah, I mean, like, I couldn't care less about life outside the Matrix in the Matrix films. Like, it's just a bunch of unwashed
So
pricks.
are you telling me you're not going to red pill it?
Yeah, red pilling. That's from the Matrix. I keep forgetting that. Yeah. Which is, I think, is funny that these like alt-right, men's rights weirdos take this from a film made by like a trans woman.
Both trans?
Are both of them trans?
Both trans. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Right. The Wachowskis. I think we've talked about how good Bound is.
Yes.
Bound's a cracking film. And then they made The Matrix, and you're like, holy shit, they can't do anything wrong. They're gonna just keep making amazing films. And after watching 2 Matrix films, I've never seen one of their films again. That's it. I'm done.
No Speed Racer.
No, I would like nothing better for the Wachowskis. Get their shit together and make a good 4th Matrix film. But let's be honest. There's only been one good Matrix film.
Yeah.
So 90s nostalgia tip, which is what I call my penis. What else have we got?
Well, Disney Plus are rebooting Home Alone.
Imagine that we're both doing that face. I mean, we're not, but just imagine it. Because you can't see if we do it or not anyways. I'm just going to tell you to imagine it, and it's as good as me doing it.
Well, so an online petition has circulated asking to bring back Mac because they want Macaulay Culkin back in the role of Kevin McAllister.
Which is hilarious. It's a funny bit of business.
Yeah.
But of course, I don't believe in petitions. If you want something, change it by force. Revolution. Right? If all these people that sign this petition, they should go to the gates of Hollywood and storm it. Storm those gates. Revolution now. So Home Alone, I remember enjoying. I even remember enjoying Home Alone 2. Also because it does have a cameo from the greatest politician of our time, Mr. Donald Trump. Listen, he's draining the swamp. He's doing a good job. So I've got a lot of fondness. There is a third one.
Home Alone 3 and
Never
Home
seen
Alone
it.
4.
Oh, wait, there's a 4th one.
There's a 4th one,
I
yeah.
knew there was a 3rd one, but that's not got Macaulay Culkin in it.
No, neither the 3rd or 4th have Macaulay Culkin in.
Home Alone, cool. I mean, I guess they're just going to keep remaking things. We have now reached the stage of postmodern filmmaking. We're in a age where we now know so much about everything. There's no surprise that they're just going to keep remaking the things that worked before.
No.
That's life. That's why we have this podcast. I just wait to see our reboot when we're rebooted with younger models.
Like Devo 2.0, Cars 2.0.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Less Todd Rundgren in our reboot, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know. Do you think we could get Todd Rundgren to come over? Because he's like a polymath, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably wants to do a podcast.
I would love it if the Runt had a podcast. That would be amazing.
He stayed at the hotel I worked in once, and they were like, you can't tell anyone who's staying here because his fans are super stalkers.
Uh-huh.
And no one at the desk knew knew who he was.
Oh.
I was the only person, so there's like, so there's this guy, Todd Rundgren? I was like, yeah, Todd is God. I don't know why I did that like Jerry Seinfeld. Todd is God! What's the deal with the wizard and true star? This is my character, indie music pitchfork writer Jerry Seinfeld. You should listen to the Shins. His production work is actually maybe his best thing. Cool. We're big fans of Todd Rundgren, but not the idea of remaking Home Alone.
Yeah. Anyway, so as we push on through the 90s, Margot Robbie is developing a Tank Girl reboot with MGM. How did you feel about the Laurie Petty bomb from 95?
Oh, wow. Okay. I remember it being
also
a mess.
starring Ice-T.
Ice-T, yeah.
As a kangaroo.
Yeah. I remember being a bit of a mess. I kind of feel it might be the sort of thing I enjoy more now. Like, it might be a kind of like, oh, this is a glorious mess. Whereas at the time, I remember just being like, I don't really know what's happening here. I never read the comics. Jamie Hewlett.
That
That does Gorillaz.
Yep.
It's a band that's a cartoon. What a world we live in. Oh my. Does he get any royalties from the album sales? What's the deal with Jamie Hewlett's involvement? I actually said what's the deal that didn't do the Seinfeld voice. I think we should all be very proud of that.
And it was music related as well.
I know, fucked it.
Anyway, all of this 90s nostalgia, reboot and remake chat was just to lead you to this point. 1997's Face Off is apparently in line for a reboot. But my question to you is, obviously what makes Face Off so special is the combo of John Woo, John Travolta and Nick Cage.
Yes.
Who could possibly replicate that?
Hear me out. John Woo, John Travolta, Nicolas Cage. That's it. That's just let them just remake the film, but it's them years later.
Do you know what I would like about that?
Do it the other way about?
Yeah, for me, they should have cast oppositely.
That's
I know they both do
each other.
Phrasing. But for me, it should have been the other way around, and wouldn't that be amazing?
I love Face Off, man. It's perfect. Oh, Citizen Kane's the shut the fuck up. Face Off. Face Off, guys.
But do you remember that bit in Citizen Kane when they jump a speedboat through another speedboat?
Yeah, exactly. You don't. That's why Citizen Kane sucks balls, guys.
Also, if they could reduce the amount of screen time given over to explaining the face swap technique,
No, but it's important because they've put time into how realistic it is, so they should put that over.
No, because they really glossed over the anti-gravity boots that are
my favourite
magnetic prison boots.
My favourite, that's Pollux Troy's in jail there. It's fucking brilliant. Oh, I love that. Honestly, I love this film so much. But here's the thing, that's what I love. My favourite thing about Face Off is that it was written as a futuristic thing, and I think John was just like, why don't we just set it now? And they were like, okay, fuck it. Like, let's not all this. So if it was the future, I could explain away everything. They're just like, nah, too much work. Just set it now. Outstanding work. Face Off's one of the only films that's like 2 hours 20 minutes that's worth watching repeatedly, because it's 2 hours or 20 minutes of unbridled fucking ownage. It's brilliant. I love it to death. I mean, that's the only acceptable way they should remake Face Off.
What a decade the 90s was for cinema, eh?
But that time is gone, Alan. It's dead. You put the past behind you. You don't look back. Like a shark, mate. Always swimming forward. And I've killed people in the water. My best years are ahead of me. Not true. I'm an unhealthy, middle-aged man. I'm an only child. So my next 30 years are bleak. Let's be honest. Fuck that shit. The past is gone.
A couple of Gen Extroverts like us are just...
I think I'm not. I think you're Gen X. I think I'm the in between. I'm the one that doesn't really have a name.
Oh, okay.
I'm slightly too old to be a millennial, but too young to be Gen X. I don't know. I'm in this fucking in between. If you want to see me be a millennial, please go onto my comedy group Improv Killed My Dogs Facebook page, and you'll see a video of me in a sketch being a millennial, and I am literally the worst human being of all time. Hi, it's me, Chris Scott, the co-host and the one you love the most out of the Diminishing Returns crew. I'm here putting another wee advert. If you're in or around Glasgow, I will be hosting a monthly comedy show, hard lotion comedy, at the Amsterdam Bar in the Merchant City in Glasgow. So it's called the Amsterdam. It's called Hard Lotion Comedy on the first Sunday of every month for only £3. You'll get to see some new acts. You'll get to see some more experienced acts trying new stuff, and we'll always have a top quality headliner, a professional circuit headliner that you would pay, frankly, a lot more than £3 to see usually. The first one is on Sunday, the 6th of October at the Amsterdam Bar, and the headliner, he's just had a great fringe run. He's the reigning Scottish comedian of the year, and and last year won the Best New Comedian Award from BBC Radio 4 for the whole of the UK. It is Stephen Buchanan. He's one of the best Scottish acts out there, and you can come and see him for only £3 at our new night at the Amsterdam. It's called Hard Lotion Comedy. Search for Hard Lotion Comedy on Facebook, and there'll be ticket links, or just Google Hard Lotion Comedy Glasgow. You can buy tickets online, and it's only £3 to see the current Scottish Comedian of the Year. Bargain. So enough of this past bullshit. Enough of your nostalgia. We look forward here. We look forward because we're forward-thinking motherfuckers. You know, like all the great men. Einstein, Elon Musk, Donald Trump. We only look forward.
What a weird trio
of
humanity.
Legends, Alan. And it's because we're looking forward. Let's go to our favourite segment. We're looking forward to things that will be happening in the future. That's how time works. It is, of course, Trailer Talk.
Bum, bum.
Oh, we were pretty good there, said we've not done that for like a fucking month and a half.
Could
2
have
months,
been
maybe.
rusty.
Let's put all this 90s bullshit nostalgia behind us, and let's talk about Jane Silent Bob 2. Oh, hold on. Oh, Jesus. Okay, wow. I feel we've discussed Kevin Smith before.
Yes.
Certainly, I think we were similar, kind of like, he was really important to us maybe when we were younger. Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, for me, were like absolutely foundational stuff when I was a teenager. I was in. So this trailer, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh, boy. Oh, boy, Alan. Whoa!
I still have an enormous amount of goodwill towards Kevin Smith. He's managed to get this movie together. It's cameo laden.
Oh, I mean, I did write down, there's some absolutely great cameos, and I like that he's obviously probably quite a good guy. I don't think Matt Damon or Ben Affleck are doing this for their careers.
No.
They're not doing a cameo of this to fucking push them up. They're doing it because they obviously like the fella.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair play, right? And I want this to be good. I really do. I really want this to be good. But that trailer was pretty rough. I'm talking about as rough as Jason Mewes looks like now.
Oh,
he looks old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
he's come a long way, for sure. That's,
and obviously, yeah, I believe he was like a mad crack addict or some shit, right?
Just this year released a film that he's directed. Well, I've seen mixed reviews just to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Right, so it's terrible.
He's, he's at least got his life together.
Yeah, and again, these characters were great as side characters. Do you know what I mean? Like, nobody wants a film about Kramer.
Yeah, well, certainly not these days.
Do you know?
What does Pitchfork Jerry think about that?
Kramer is cancelled. Well, even I'm not going to stand for that sort of thing. Let's not get into Kramer. But do you know what I mean? Like Jane, Silent Bob were great aside characters. Their comedy value, inherent comedy value, was them being kind of caught up in other people's stories. Dogma probably was like the most you could push them being
at the
forefront of a film. And Jane, Silent Bob won. Jane, Silent Bob Strike Back, is that what it's called?
Yes, confusingly.
That's probably the worst one at that point. I've not seen Clerks 2, and I've not seen the fucking Walrus or Jersey Girl and all that.
I've stood up for Clerks 2 before.
A lot of people say it's pretty good. But you know what I mean? Like, so when I'm watching this, I'm like, Jane, Silent Bob, even the first one, which had some jokes that you were like, yeah, there's some really nice bits, like when they go beat up the kids at the end. Hilarious, right?
Yeah.
But it was like, it's just a bit too much Jane, Silent Bob.
Yeah.
To carry a whole film. And now this is another film, except they're another 10 years or 12 years later or whatever. They all look really old. But we shouldn't keep talking about that. And listen, I mean, I look like shit as well. I have not aged well in the last fucking decade either.
Sadly, Stan Lee was meant to be in it, but,
I love cameos.
Not now, Stan Lee!
Excelsior!
It's just not that funny from the trailer. All these, it just looked like these big, meant to be laugh out loud moments, and they all fell flat for me. And I hope it's just sometimes trailers cut together weirdly. And when I see the film, I hope it's funny. I hope it's not a bunch of really lame stoner jokes. Like, this is going to be terrible. And I'm probably going to watch it. I hope I'm wrong, because I like Kevin Smith. I'm out. Purely in the trailer, I would be out on this. What about you?
Such a lot of time for Kevin Smith and his movies, even his latter stage movies. Really love Red State, but this, like you, really hope it's good, but it doesn't play well for me just based on what's in the trailer.
So we're both out for Jane, Silent Bob.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about next, man?
The 90s keep rolling. How about we just agree that we're just Bad Boys for life.
Bad boys for life. Hey, we were no longer bad boys. We were bad men. Oh yeah, that's right. It's a Little Woman fucking reference. I've read some books. Here's the thing, right? You watch this trailer and this is just dumb, over the top, lowest common denominator filmmaking. And I am here for it. Bad Boys 2 is a film that if you described it to me and it's like fucking 2.5 hours long and it's ridiculous and it doesn't really make sense and there's loads of really broad jokes, it would sound like, oh, this is like some terrible kind of Fast and Furious style debacle.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked Bad Boys 2. It was really fun. It was really fun. And I remember Bad Boys being really fun as well.
Bad Boys is great. It was also a bit of a sleeper hit. We weren't fully in the millennium at that time. Yeah. Bad Boys 2, there's some real highs in it, but...
Yeah. I mean, it is like it's 2.5 hours long. There are some bits that could be cut. And then, of course, we had that downturn, the Will Holocaust.
Oh boy.
But now we're in the Will Resurrection and we're back.
I mean, Will Smith's looking great.
Martin Lawrence
is also there.
Yeah. A couple of cunts that look like me and you commenting on other people's looks. What a world we live in. As long as it's them bickering, being funny, and crazy bonkers action sequences, I would like it not to be 2.5 hours long this time.
Like the Bayhem of the Bad Boys original pairing, but now it's got like added Fast and Furiousness to it.
But here's the thing as well, like I genuinely find myself going, oh, Michael Bay isn't directing this, because I feel he should have, because Michael Bay
is a real auteur's.
Here's the thing, Michael Bay in a way is an auteur. It might not be to our taste for the most part, but Michael Bay makes films that look and are intrinsically Michael Bay.
Oh, absolutely. Even the first shot in the trailer is that swooping pan around the central pair.
Yeah.
Immediately
Bay
conjures Bayhem.
Yeah. I watched it. I laughed out loud at one joke and I was like, and it looked quite cool. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. This is what I'm here for. Yeah, I'm in.
I'm in.
What are you going to do? Anyone who knows me IRL, in real life, knows that I'm about health and fitness. I think what you put in your body is important. It's like your fuel, right? That's just I'm just going to say it, right? Like, it's your fuel for your body, guys. And so this is why I really want to talk about film for, the people like me who are about health eating. Supersize Me 2, Holy Chicken.
We don't get many documentary sequels. This is exciting.
Yeah. And here's the thing. So you said, you send me the list of things you want to talk about. Supersize Me 2, and I'm going, what? What redundant lack of ideas bullshit is this? Like, you're doing another Supersize Me. All right, Morgensbrock, you had this flash in the pan hit, which was great, and I really enjoyed it. And, I liked him in it, but I'm like, come on, man, just fucking accept your time's over. And then I watched the trailer for this, and I was like, this looks great. I was like, this actually does look quite enjoyable, because it's a great idea. Other people, in the nanny state want fast food to be healthy. Fast food's fucking killers. But I did like Supersize Me, the documentary, because it did show you how mental it was. And this is really good, because since that film, obviously, like, a lot of them have been like, oh no, we're a bit more healthy.
It did have a positive effect generally on fast food.
Or did it? Because this documentary is like, well, hold on. It might say all these things like, oh, this is fresh and healthy and blah, blah, blah. But really, is this just another sort of corporate branding thing? What do these terms actually mean? What is the standards and practices that these restaurants and chains have to do? And what he's done is basically start his own fast food restaurant. Yeah. And through that, which is a nice little hook of going on a journey of finding out, when you say free range, we assume it's a lovely open field and chickens are running about. I would also like to have free range.
I envisage a sun-dappled meadow.
Yeah.
Just living out their chicken dreams.
And when you watch that trailer, that's not the case.
That is shocking.
Right? And so I think this actually is a really good idea. And I didn't expect that. So apologies, Mr. Spurlock.
Yeah, a good, honest food experiment. It looks great. And like you say, he's an engaging on-screen presence.
Likeable guy, yeah. So I'm literally looking forward to this, much like the original Supersize Me, being a documentary that I enjoy and find shocking and does not change my eating habits whatsoever. I will watch it and I'm in.
You're saying Supersize Me. I'm saying Supersize Me 2.
Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. His wee face when he said that, with such hope in his wee daft eyes, it was like looking at a little chicken that thinks it's going to have a free range life. And it's not, it's going to be food.
So from one flying object to another big money flying object.
Smooth.
I know.
Good. You didn't spend the last fucking month practicing your links, did you, pal? Jesus.
We had a watch it. Top Gun 2, Pete Maverick Mitchell.
Right, is that his name?
That's his name.
Pete Mitchell.
Pete Mitchell.
I didn't know his fucking name was Pete. Oh, such a long ago I've watched that. Fucking it's less cool, innit? Right, Pete. Jeez, call me Maverick. Shut up, Pete. Yeah, so Top Gun 2, Tom Cruise.
Yep.
In planes, on bikes, around mountains. All the things I enjoy seeing Tom Cruise around. If anything, if my last 30 years of watching films has taught me, if you put Tom Cruise near mountains or on a motorbike or near planes, awesomeness will happen.
I mean, on collision course with the sum of all awesome parts.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Makes hits, can get stuff made.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
mean,
can open films.
can survive some real stinkers.
And has been doing it since I was but a child. The only thing that could stop him would be if he was in some sort of crazy religion. This is the only reason why I'm not 100% in love with Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise is a great movie star. I watched Valkyrie.
Okay.
I'd never seen it, right? And I'm a big fan of Macquarie.
Hello.
Yeah. Although I'm sure does not hold up. So I just watched Valkyrie.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Chris Macquarie, and him and Tom Cruise together have been a great combination.
A dynamite pairing, yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And what I realised while watching, Tom Cruise is great at being frustrated. His frustrated face is amazing, because it happens all the time in like Mission Impossible. Even though we know he's going to succeed, something will happen and you just see him be like, damn it. And Valkyrie is like, he does that face pretty much the whole film, because it's, you know, it's hard being a good Nazi. He's not really a Nazi, of course. He's just in the German army and he hates Hitler. That's the whole point of the film. But his frustrated face, I was like, he's great at just being like, damn it, I've been thwarted, but I will now persevere. And I like that.
Going just slightly beyond that, in the absence that we've had from being here, there was a story about how the Staith, The Rock, and Vin Diesel all have these really weird contracts, and they keep track of how many punches someone get in. That like The Rock can't lose a fight. These guys, they don't have any vulnerability, which really reduces their effectiveness in action movies for me.
Yes.
Whereas when you see Tom Cruise, he's continually been handed his ass.
Yeah.
And
but then he
makes
gets up
for a better film.
Yeah.
He puts himself in that vulnerable position. It goes back to what we've always said about Die Hard and why Die Hard really works and why the other Die Hards don't, is because John McClane is vulnerable and he gets hurt. He has to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds, and we really get behind someone like that because you can identify with someone who's been knocked down and
they
has
get
to
up
push
again.
through. Yeah.
They have a whiskey drink. They have a lager drink.
Well, not Tom Cruise, back to Scientology, but that's enough. But Tom Cruise, like you say, like he is continually perplexed and at a loss.
Then having to
vulnerable,
on the fly figure stuff out.
Exactly.
Yeah. And this is where I think he is smart, and screenwriters are smart, like Macquarie, is that Cruise also isn't going to lose.
No, I mean, he does in Valkyrie, more's the pity.
Yeah. Oh, spoiler alert, they didn't kill Hitler.
Oh, spoilers for my recommendation, but we'll get to that.
I think what's smart about that is knowing that by having these obstacles and having to take a step back before you can then go on and triumph, you are more likable. Whereas The Rock and Statham having a fight and then it getting broken up by some outside force, so that none of them has to take the loss. Anyone with even a bit of savvy realizes, that's because they couldn't lose. As soon as you realise that, takes you out the film.
Exactly.
Whereas watching a Tom Cruise film, we know in Mission Impossible, we know he's going to win. It's not going to end with him dying.
Yeah, we have previously discussed how the name is inaccurate.
Yeah.
Factually inaccurate.
It's Mission Impossible. But yet you're still tense when you watch these films. And that's because Tom Cruise is aware. Take the hit. And you're on the edge of your seat going, how's he going to do it? You know he's going to do it. You just want to know how. Brilliant. Tom Cruise is a fantastic movie star, has been in some great films and interesting films. And Mission Impossible is one of the best fun franchises of all time. And he's now bringing back fucking Top Gun, probably his big super breakout.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a movie that put him over the top, I would say.
The over-the-top gun.
Yeah, I mean, stunning aerial photography. Obviously, the Navy gave them full access to the machinery January. We've mentioned before in a news segment a few months ago how there had been a sort of little bit of delay because they actually wanted more flight training, which I presume means that Tom Cruise is now flying fighter jets in real life.
There's a shot in that trailer that looks like him in a cockpit as the fucking plane. And I'm sure they could do that in CGI, but I'm like, it's Tom Cruise. That's Tom Cruise in a fucking
top
plane.
notch. I mean, I have never wanted to join the United States Navy, but now after watching that trailer, have you
not heard the great song by the Village People? I mean, it sounds like a right old laugh.
So it looks like a fucking awesome recruitment video for the armed forces of the United States.
And that's good because they keep us safe. Why do you hate the military, Al?
They've even got a lady pilot in the trailer now.
Whoa, what?
It's a greatest hits of like the bits you know from Top Gun. We've got beach volleyball, we've got motorbikes racing against planes, singing, a funeral, and apparently Miles Teller plays the son of Goose. Val Kilmer's back, John Hamm's in it, and Jennifer Connelly's in it as a character who's described as Maverick's love interest, who is a single mother and owner of a bar.
I mean, living the dream. You know why? Two things there. Access to alcohol, and you know she's pumped.
But all that to say is I never ever thought I would be excited about a second Top Gun, and here I am. Top marks for Top Gun.
So we're in for Top Gun. So we're out for Jay and Silent Bob.
Yep.
In for Bad Boys 3. We're in for Supersize Me, and we're in for Top Gun 2. It's a pretty successful,
pretty good roundup for being the first one back in a while.
Not bad. And also because we choose the film, so we can kind of do it anyway we want. But that was, of course, Back in the Saddle with Trailer Talk. Bum bum bum. We're just rocking and rolling with some recommendations because that's kind of fucking crazy, guys.
We are.
What are you recommending?
Well, to connect back to what you were saying about Valkyrie, in the running for maybe my film of the year so far is The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot, starring Sam Elliott. The title makes you think that it's going to be like an 80s video shop era gonzo B-movie, like a Godfrey Ho style, and it's not. It's while the title tells you everything that happens within the movie, it wildly undersells what is quite a smart, in parts somber, and at the same time ass-kicking action movie. It's great. Soundtrack's amazing. Sam Elliott is brilliant. Great action scenes. Great special effects. Really enjoyed it, and it surprised me.
Cool. So, I mean, I guess the big one, Quentin Tarantino's new film,
right.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Felt probably could have cut that whole first hour. Without it making a difference, but yet still enjoyed watching that first hour. Like, I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it. I'm just like, I'm almost 100% sure that I will enjoy it. I think I'll enjoy it more on a second viewing because I'll just be able to like luxuriate in the details. There's been a little bit of a kind of Tarantino's fucking problematic. I mean, he's always been a bit creepy and weird, right? So I'm not saying he's not, but his films are great. I rewatched Reservoir Dogs for the first time in like 15 years.
Okay.
Fuck me, that still holds up. It's still fucking absolutely brilliant. I fucking loved it, man. He's just a great filmmaker, and everything he's done's great. Even the Grindhouse one, the Death Proof. See if that was somebody's first film and we didn't know anything about them. Me and you would be raving about that. And he made that as a throwaway. Like, and I can see why people like. It took me years to see that because I was like, all right. As long as you're not going in expecting Pulp Fiction, it's a fucking cool genre movie.
It's definitely minor Tarantino,
worst
but
film. If that's his worst film, it's still really fun.
I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I've got the Grindhouse box set from Japan, so it's actually got Grindhouse as it was meant to be seen, just a one thing, and it's really great seeing it, all of it together, all the trailers and the two movies. To see it like that, it's brilliant, and it really
makes more
plays
sense
differently.
Tarantino is one of the best filmmakers around, and I get like people are like, but he's just taking things for like, that's fucking life, that's art. I've heard it's a bit can be a bit of a weirdo maybe, like that's fine. If we find out he's done something egregiously fucking gross, then fuck him, right? But it just seems like people, particularly in this film, seem to be kind of going out of their way to have a hot take on it, and it's really starting to nip my tits. And it's got even worse recently on Twitter. One of the takes was like, he seems to treat the Manson's family like they're monsters, like they're not here. And it's like, yeah, you know what they did in real life, right? They fucking murdered a pregnant woman and her baby that was inside of her. We're allowed to not like those people.
If I can further recommend a film called Charlie Says, which is fucking brilliant. Matt Smith plays Charlie Manson in that movie.
Okay.
But it's really great. Charlie Says.
It's really interesting Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because it's not really about the Manson family. It's mostly about Brad Pitt and Leo DiCaprio hanging out and doing stuff. And then we also see Sharon Tate hanging out and doing stuff. She's mostly on her own, which when you heard that big sort of furore about like, no, she's not got a lot of lines. A lot of the time she's by herself. So, like...
just monologuing to houseplants.
I know, fucking exactly. Like, I'm not entirely sure. I feel that a lot of criticisms were kind of looking for something to be critical of. And also, I get it, like, you know, it's just like guys hanging out and it's fucking... It's like, yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong with that film. We should also be able to have other films that are women hanging out, right? Like, the fact that it's guys hanging out doesn't necessarily make it a bad film. And I like seeing cool guys hang out. I'm a cool guy. This whole podcast is cool guys hanging out. We are the Brad Pitt and Leo DiCaprio of podcasting. Again, never look at our pictures online. I really liked it, man. I'm a Tarantino fan. I love the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Do not get confused between that and the Bruce Willis vehicle Once Upon a Time in Venice. That's a terrible, terrible film.
Right, okay. So that's my recommendation, as well as still living at home and getting fed all the time.
So we've all to move back home and go and see Quentin Tarantino's new joint.
Yeah, again, we've circled back round to effectively nostalgia because that's what I did in the 90s is I lived at home and watched Quentin Tarantino, and that's basically what I've done this one. You try to escape the past, but you cannot. So we will escape this podcast and we'll be back to our hopefully regular schedule now. Obviously we've had a break, but you know, when people have been in touch saying it's good that we're back, and including, actually, amazingly, we got a wee message from Gerard Butler.
Hollywood star Gerard Butler.
Hollywood star Gerard Butler, play it now.
Yeah. I love this one especially, and I think they're getting better on so many more levels.
Oh, I mean, listen to that. Listen to that, man. I mean, he says we're just getting better. In an amazing accent. Hilarious. If you want to contact us, you can contact us at email, diminishingpod@gmail.com. Diminishingpod@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are at diminishingpod. On Facebook, we are Diminishing Returns Podcast. You can tag us and stuff at Diminishing Returns Pod. We're on Instagram, Diminishing Pod. We've got a blog at diminishingpod.wordpress.com. And, you know, we've got some stuff on YouTube that's the same stuff that's been on there for ages because we don't really do anything on there. We're an independent podcast, so please rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And the most important thing, somebody came up to me in the pub the other week and was talking to me about the podcast, and that was really nice. But I said, please never talk to me, civilians. You know, don't come this close to me ever again. But it was nice. So they found it because their friend recommended it to them. You want to be a good friend, right? You know, no one told you it was going to be this way. Be a good friend, and so recommend this podcast. Send them an episode that you think they'd like, or this most recent episode, this bonus episode, and you know, people that like films and dirty jokes will like this podcast. So we appreciate you sharing it. Keep getting people on board. We're back in the saddle. Yippee-ki-yay. And you know, remember, revolution now. I love crass humour. I love a fucking dick joke. I love jokes about fannies, titties, dicks, ball bags.